Good morning. Today we are going to go on with chapter number 1, sales management. As we said before, one of the previous learning objectives was talking about the factors which influenced or changed the marketplace. Therefore, objective number 2, which we discussed last time, in this class we will talk about it in a very detailed way. So, as you can see, we are going to talk about 3 major factors. With these 3 factors, before we are going to talk about them, I am going to ask the students if you prepared it or not. Did you prepare it? Who would like to talk about it? Who would like to talk about it? Haneen.
There's 2 major changes that are in the competition side and the customer side. There's increase in competition due to globalization and due to shorter product life cycles because of technology. As technology increases, there is shorter product life cycles and lower boundaries between products that you can, for example, you want to have a door, you can make it from wood, you can make it from aluminum, and you can make it from glasses. On the other side, there is customers, fewer suppliers due to the decrease in costs, and also there is rising expectations of customers and increasing power of customers because of increased level of awareness and of the other companies and other industries. This urges us to have changes in the selling process.
طب Haneen, stop here. I would like to ask you about more regarding fewer suppliers. What does it mean?
Fewer suppliers,
English.
There is less retailers in the market. You can, instead of supplying 10 suppliers, you may have 7 or 5.
Okay. Well,
fewer suppliers means we have a closer relationship between customers and sellers face to face. We don't need to have suppliers to make the selling system or selling process between the customers and the seller.
Okay, good. Who would like to add more about this? Excellent. Now let's go on. So as we said, we are talking about 2 major factors or influential items. Number 1, competition, or number 2, customers. Or both of them, they influence something called marketplace. We are going to explain them in a very detailed way. At the same time, also, we are going to strike realistic examples. Some of these examples are going to be from the Palestinian context or from the Palestinian life. Other examples are going to be internationally. We can, or I am sure that many of you heard about these examples, especially if you are following the news. Let's begin with the first one, competition. Nowadays, all companies and the producers and firms, all of them, they are understanding one simple fact. Somebody is going to ask, what is this fact? This fact means you are not alone producing. We are talking about millions and millions of firms and companies who might share in producing one similar item. Now, let's give a realistic example. All of us, we heard about the Apple company. Well, this Apple company, it is one of the American companies, which is considered to be the first IT company in America and all over the world. This company proposed a very famous product 1 year ago. And this product was the iPad. You know the iPad?
Yes.
Okay. 5 months later, Samsung, the Southern Korean company, proposed its own version of the iPad. Or they named it, I think, Galaxy iPad. Because of this, we are saying we aren't alone producing. Many firms are producing. And this is going to cause a very competitive games among the firms and among the producers. Therefore, competition, is it influencing the marketplace? Yes. Is it influencing the sales size? Yes. But why? Under this example, if any one from you would like to buy the iPad, he might be hesitant or confused. Which one she should pick? Should we pick up iPad made by Apple company or iPad made by Samsung company? We are not sure. So this is one of the examples which we can witness in our life globally and also inside our own community. Competition is considered to be a very powerful item. Yes, it is going to influence the sales size which each firm is going to achieve. Now, therefore, we are talking about global competition. Yes, there is a global competition. Is it going to reach our hand or homeland? Yes, it is going to reach us. Now, let's talk about shorter production cycles. If you are going to ask a very simple and quick question, why nowadays we are enjoying something called shorter production cycle? Can you think of the reason? I need a reason which is consisting of only one word. Iman. Excellent. Technology. And specifically, this machine. Computer. Nowadays, everything is computerized. Everything in our life is computerized. Even whenever we are going to talk about the auto car industries, whenever we are going to talk about education, we are using the computer in every field. You use the computer, and you might not use it directly, but somebody used the computer to facilitate your registration. 1 week ago, all of you came to the second new year, or to the first new year, or to the first semester, and the majority would like to register their own academic courses. So what did you do? I would like somebody to talk about her experience regarding registration. Go on. What did you do exactly to register for the courses? We paid, then?
Opened the website of the university.
Yes.
The registration, the subject of the term, this term, according to the plan.
Study plan? Yes, good. طيب, whenever we dealt with the registrar or with the cashier, this person in the second part of the equation, he was or she was using the computer. The registration for the courses might not take more than a few seconds. But compare the registration process nowadays and the registration process for the students who graduated from the Islamic University of Gaza 10 or 15 years ago. How was the registration during these times? It was manual. It was very difficult. For example, if Fatin would like to register for her courses 15 years ago, the registrar is going to come to Fatin. He is going to ask her politely, what's your name? She is going to tell him, my name is Fatin Kafarna. The registrar is going to go to the shelf and he is going to look at the files. He is going to follow them alphabetically. And whenever his hand is going to reach the F letter, he is going to pick up Fatin and then he is going to open the folder. And he is going to review the courses which he studied before and the courses which he is going to study later on. If the sales management course, for example, was registered before, he is going to tell her, you took it. If not, he is going to write it down. The problem is the following. Let's calculate how many minutes did the registrar take in order to finalize the registration process for Fatin. I think 10 minutes, if we are very optimistic, or more if we are pessimistic. That's fine. But imagine how we are going to finalize the registration in the due time that not exceeded more than 2 weeks for thousands and thousands of students. Are we talking a very exhausting process? It's very exhausting, it's very tiring.
Yes.
Imagine, for example, if the file of Miss Fatin lost, or was missed, or got banned. This means we are destroying the future of a student whose name is Fatin. Because of this, we are talking about very longer production cycle. Or this longer production cycle might be also very dangerous, especially if we lost control over it.
Yes.
Especially if we lost control over it. But nowadays, everything can be done in a few seconds with data is maintained or preserved directly. Or at the same time, we are talking about more than one version or more than one copy of the data at the same time. So everything is secured, or everything is very done in a very efficient and effective way. Now, let's talk about the blurred boundaries. As Hanin said before, whenever we are going to talk about the blurred boundaries nowadays, many various items can be formed together in order to produce one item. This is one thing. Another thing, sometimes we might refer to the blurred boundaries as ambiguous borders. With these ambiguous borders, we cannot identify them clearly. Well, let's give example from our real life. 7 or 8 months ago, Israeli government said in the media, we are ready to receive any Gazan tomato product to be allowed to be exported to side Israeli market. Why? Because during this time, the price of each kilo of tomato reached more than 10 new Israeli shekel. 10 new Israeli shekel. They said, we are ready to receive the Gazan production of tomato. We are ready to sell it inside the Israeli market. This is what happened, if you remembered. But let's ask and review or evaluate the situation here. 5 years ago, or till now, they are saying Gaza Strip is an enemy. Gaza Strip is consisting of many of terrorists, and so on and so on and so on. But now you are ready to receive or to welcome our product of tomato. This means what? This means whenever we are talking about competition and business, we do not take into consideration the factors of religion, the factors of politics, the factors of geography, and the factors of nationalism, and the factor of culture. Everything will be founded and compounded by one word, which is, read, interest. That's it. If there is a common interest, we are going to blur the boundaries and we will deal transactions. We will overcome the boundaries and we are going to make the transaction. Why? Simply because by this way we are achieving our own interest. That's it. Another example from the international borders. As you know, America is imposing a kind of embargo. What's the meaning of embargo? حصار اقتصادي on the Iranian product of oil. On the Iranian product of oil. Now, when the Americans urged Indian government along with the Southern Korean government, the two governments of India and Southern Korea, they refused to be involved in this embargo. Simply because these two governments said, our national interest will be jeopardized, will be endangered. We are heavily dependent on the consumption of the Iranian oil. So if you are going to be a participant in this embargo, this is going to harm our Indian as well as Korean companies and firms and producers sharply. Our economy will be shaken. Our ability to generate electricity will be influenced negatively. Therefore, we are not ready to agree or support the American embargo against Iran. So each government, each firm is acting according to its own interest and only interest. Well, this is the language of business. Well, this is the language of sales. Okay? Therefore, we are talking about competition. Well, this competition is dynamic. Well, it is continuous. We cannot stop it at certain level or at a certain stage. Everything is competitive in our life. Now, this morning while you were coming to the university, if you are coming from this direction, from Al-Aqsa University, or if you are coming from Unurwa, from here, from this direction, you are going to find that we are talking about tens and tens of libraries. Each library is competing with another library, so that they are going to attract the biggest number of the customers, who are you, students. The same thing with the other shops, the same thing with the supermarkets. You are not selling alone. We are talking about tens and tens who are selling almost the same product. But how we are going to defeat them or compete them? By strategies of sales. Or this is the key word for success or competing others. How we are going to develop our sales of strategy. Now, all the time remember, the secret isn't in the price. The secret isn't in the quality of the product. Or the secret isn't in anything else but one thing, which is sales strategy, which we are implementing for our own businesses. This is the key word. Later on, we are going to demonstrate this with realistic examples, even from Gaza and outside. Any question, any comments about this? Are we done with factor number 1? Okay, let's go to the factor number 2. Let's talk about customers. Who would like to talk about it? Customers. How does the factor of customer influence what is called the marketplace? We try to expand or explain your subject with the striking examples also, if you can. Okay, who would like? Wala? Go on.
Because the customer is king, we know that the customer is king, so the customers can influence the marketplace very much because he or she buy the goods and the service. That's it.
Okay, good. Another comment. Go on.
Customers, we know that the customers in any company or any organizations are the one who determine how the company will work or how the company should make the strategies to interact with the customers. So sometimes the customer will influence the marketplace, or all the time the customers will influence the marketplace depending on how the company will interact with the customers. So the customers will keep having relationships with the firms and organizations that would influence the marketplace, maybe positively or negatively, depends on their opinion of the customers sometimes.
Good, excellent. Iman.
Customers influence the marketplace. Otherwise, why we increase or decrease the price when their demand increase or decrease?
Okay. Now, but let's talk about 2 words. Customers, they have their own what? Read this. Well, they have their own needs. Now, our question is the following. Are we talking about permanent, fixed needs and tastes? We doubt it. We doubt it. These tastes and these needs, they are changeable. Well, they are in a dynamic changing. Today we are liking something and we are appreciating it. Tomorrow, God knows, we might neglect it and look for another. Well, this is reflected with our food items, personal uses items, tastes, beverage, anything in life. So everything is changing. Now, all the time remember, whenever the customer, their own needs and tastes are going to be changeable. Is this going to influence the producers and the sales companies?
Yes.
Of course. Of course. Now listen, or be careful here. If you are going to be an owner of a sales company, if your company is going to be traditional, this means you are going to think of the product first, then you are going to think of the people second. The people whom I mean customers. This is considered to be transactional, traditional thinking of sales process. We are zooming on the product, then we are looking for people. Is this a healthy process of sales strategy? No. But what is the healthy process of strategy? We have to think of the people, what they need, what they taste, and then we are going to think of what? Product. Therefore, priority should be given for customers. Second, we should look for the product which satisfies this need or taste. But the first method, whenever the sales agencies or companies are going to think of the product, or later on they are going to think of the customers, this is considered to be a misunderstanding for the sales strategy. So what do we conclude from here?
We should consider the customers
First, customer is the king. So we are repeating the same ideas and thoughts which we talked about last lecture. Type. So competition number 1, customer number 2, customer is the elite or customer is the leading method or item for the sales strategy. Now, how they are going to influence the selling process? How they are going to leave an impact? How they are going to change the sales process or selling process? Go on.
As we said now, the customers and the sales company should think first with the customer. They will know what the taste and the needs of the customer. That will lead the company to produce certain items that would satisfy the customer needs and tastes, and that would achieve the selling process to be in a certain way that in balance with the customer.
Okay, good. So we are saying this is a selling process. A selling process is founded on relationship. Whenever we are going to listen to the word relationship, we are referring to something permanent. We are referring to something continuous. And once again, we are not talking about incidental relationship. It is a sustainable. So this customer is going to be a key for generating other customers. This customer is going to be dealt with in a very smooth and nice way to ensure his or her loyalty. Second, we are talking about sales teams. And what is the relationship, or why we should focus on the sales team? Nowadays, do you think one employer, one worker can do the whole work alone? No. We doubt it. We doubt it. Each library, each business, each company, each school, it is going to have what is called working teams. The same thing with sales. We are talking about sales teams. With these sales teams, each team is going to have its own responsibilities, tasks, mission, and each team must do their own part. Later on, these parts are going to be reconnected once again together in order to be sure that we are finalizing our sales strategy. Simply, labor must be divided. Well, this is what we studied in Business Essential number 1, if you remember. Because of this, we are talking about teams rather than one team or one person. Third, inside selling. What is the relationship between inside selling and selling process? Why we should focus on the inside selling? Who would like to talk about the inside selling? Haneen?
Inside selling it means that the relation between the salesperson and the managers, that they discuss the problems that face the customers so that it can affect the selling process. It can solve the problems and make the conditions are better.
Good. And later on, if we finalized all the problems or the troublemaking situations which the customers are suffering from, this means we are going to be a competitor. This means we are going to create a very bad image about us. Later on, this is considered to be the first step from moving from inside selling to competitive global selling. In other words, prove yourself inside home and then go globally if you can. But if you cannot prove yourself inside your home country or land, how you are going to compete globally or internationally? Therefore, inside selling is number one. As Haneen said, all the time, remember, we have to satisfy our domestic customers. When we are saying domestic customers, customers who are formed by the citizens of the country, the citizens of the community. If they are saying we are satisfied and we are pleased, then we might develop and expand our own strategies of sales. Finally, we are talking about productivity metrics. What's the metrics? So the matrix looks like this, which means at each position of the matrix we are going to have what? We are going to have a staff member or a salesperson. Type. Are we talking about salesperson who has a specialty, who has a specific task, who has specific work? Yes. But can we fire or kick out one of those persons from the matrix? We can. But do you think the flow and the fluidity of the sales process is going to be natural? No. We do not think so. So this is a metaphor for referring that our sales process got complicated. Got complicated. Simply because we need more specialized salespersons. Each salesperson is understanding in a very tiny work, tiny piece of work. Therefore, all of them, whenever they are going to be reconnected or reunified together, we are going to form something called matrix. So, sales process isn't an easy mission. It is founded on a team. Each member within the team has its own position, has its own place and responsibilities. Now, to sum up, two forces which changed the marketplace and later on changed the selling process. Number one, competition. And number two, both of them, they began influencing what is called the selling process. Any question, any comments about this? Any question, any comments? Move on. Now I'm not going to speak, you have to speak. Look at the diagram or the figure. Oh, please tell me what you understand from it. What do you understand from this figure? Who would like to talk about it? It's easy. Go on.
Satisfied customers are mainly affected or influenced or motivated by the salesperson because it had the highest percent in the diagram here. Salesperson affect the customers because when the interaction between the salesperson and the customers are done effectively and efficiently, that will lead to satisfied customers with these
Factors.
also, but mainly
But which one is the most influential? Competence, sales competence. Well, this is the thing which we talked about before. If we would like to create a satisfied customer, if we would like to create a happy customer, if we would like to increase a loyalty of the customer, we have to look for the factors which are causing satisfaction, which are causing happiness. These factors are various. One of them might be the competence of the salesperson. Second might be competitive price. Third might be the solution. In other words, if the customer is going to scream saying, hey, I have a problem, my company is going to solve the problem directly.
Yes.
Or finally, we might talk about quality or product quality. Now, before you come into this class, if you are going to ask the same question, which factor which is considered to be the most influential? I bet you are going to say it is price. Is this right? But I think the majority, they are going to say price. But now, the new scientific research says is confirming the most influential and the strongest factor which is going to motivate or increase the level of satisfaction, the level of happiness of customer is salesperson competence. Well, this is reminding us with what we stated in the last class. What did we say? Salesperson is the first face and the first impression which you are going to have about the company or the firm or the agency or the library or the store, etc. Therefore, their influence, according to scientific research, is about 37%. So this one is considered to be the biggest, number one. Which one is the second? Okay, the second one is 25% for quality. The third, which one? We are talking about customer solution. In other words, if the customer is going to complain that something going wrong, something cannot be handled or done, they are going to come and solve it for him or her. Well, this is the meaning of the customer solution or customer service. And the fourth factor, which is the last, is price. Well, price is influencing or leading to customer satisfaction with about 17% only. So, rank number one is competence of salesperson. This is number one. Somebody is going to say, can we prove this from a realistic example? Yes, we can prove it. Now, listen. 5 years ago, or 6 years ago, and I'm not sure if you were remembering this incident or not, some of the guys and traders, they decided to import very cheap Chinese shoes. The price for the pair of shoes was not exceeding more than 10 new Israeli shekel. But unfortunately, after you are going to try this pair of shoes twice or third times, they are going to be torn out. Do you remember this incident? Do you remember it? Who remember it? You do not? You heard about it. Okay. Then after 2 months or 3 months, people are no longer interested with the price. Or people or the customers, they decided to embargo this bad quality of Chinese shoes. Even though their price was very cheap. But in fact, this kind of a product, they didn't serve or sustain with them. Therefore, they embargo it. So all the time, remember, the price isn't always a solution. Or price isn't always the factor which is going to increase or motivate the satisfaction of customers. Any question, any comments about this? Any question, any comments? So move to the final part of today's class. This is very important. You should expect to ask about it in the midterm exam. Generally, whenever we are going to talk about sales or selling, we are talking about 2 kinds of models. In fact, there are 3, not 2.
Yes.
But at this stage, we will talk about only 2. The 2 models of selling or sales, one of them is called transactional. The second is called relationship. Well, let's talk about it. This is the transactional. In Arabic, التقليدي. With this one, relationship. The traditional or the transactional, let's see, it focuses on what? It focuses on sales skills. That's it. So their emphasis is on sales skill. But if you are going to look at the relationship model, it focuses on management skills. Not only what? Skills. In other words, the relationship model, it focuses on the skills within management. The second difference between the 2 models is the following. Under the transactional traditional model, they are responding to the customer needs. When we are saying they are responding to the customer needs, it means what?
Identifying their needs.
Not this. What the customer is going to need, they are going to make sure that it is available on the shelves. But here, there is a proactive estimation, a proactive prediction. These things are the things which the people are going to come within 1 year or 2 years. In other words, here we are talking about proactive innovation, opportunity identification and offers. Where everything is planned ahead. Everything is planned ahead. What does it mean? Everything is planned for future. And not only for the present needs of the customers. Okay? The third difference under the transactional traditional model, they are providing good products, price, and services. If you are going to ask about the technicalities of the product, the raw material of the product, and the other specifications or details, the salespersons might not say or might say, sorry, I do not know. But here, value-based offers, organizational enablers, all these things mean that the person who is going to work according to the selling model of relationship, they have the readiness, they have the ability to respond and to answer any technical question that might be raised by the customer. The fifth difference between the 2 models, here we are narrowing our customer focus. When we are saying we are narrowing a customer relationship, what we are interested in now is to make you buy from us and that's it. Are we talking about a future relationship? No, this isn't our priority. Where? Under the transactional model. But in the relationship model, we are talking about what? Broaden to customer's customer. What does it mean? This means the customer who is going to deal with us, he is going to be a hook by which we are going to hunt another customer. Got me? Yes. Give example. Listen. When we were in America, for example, sometimes we used to buy our food items and beverage items from a very big store, which I am pretty sure you heard about it, Walmart. In the Walmart, for example, if you are going to buy a bottle of olive oil and you are going to have the receipt and return back to home, and you might consume half of it. Later on, if you prefer to return it back to the store, the staff member in the Walmart, he is going to smile in the front of your face, or is going to say, please miss, can you provide me with the receipt to be sure that you bought this item from us? After you are going to provide her with the receipt, he is going to complete or finalize a complete refund for you, and he will take the bottle, even though half of it was consumed. A complete refund. Somebody is going to say, by this way, we are cheating them, or this group of people or salespeople, they are stupid. No, they are not stupid. They are smarter than us. Simply why? I'm going to tell you why. Imagine this scenario happened with Fatin. Or Fatin returned back the half of the olive oil, the half bottle of the olive oil. Later on, Fatin herself, she is going to need something. It might need a dress, it might need trousers, laptop, etc. For sure, she is going to think of Walmart only. But why? Because she was very highly satisfied in the first trial. This is one thing. Another thing, if a man is her neighbor or a friend, for sure she is going to talk to her about a positive experience which she made with Walmart in the first time. So by this way, Fatin was used as a hook to generate or to recruit hundreds and hundreds of customers. Now let's return and evaluate the whole situation. Even though the Walmart lost about $10 or $20 for the price of the olive oil, but compare this loss of the $20 along with the gains of hundreds and hundreds of dollars, which Fatin was the cause for this profit or winning? Well, this is the meaning of what? Customer relationship. Now, if we are going to add more, let's talk about transactional model. Once again, they are differentiating through products. In other words, they are going to tell you, these are our products, and they are distributed or displayed on the shelves. These are Chinese, these are Japanese, these are Americans, and etc. But here, differentiating through what? People. So people first, product second. But here, product first, people second. Okay? Also, in transactional, we are talking about sales revenue focus. What we are thinking of is only the revenue, the profit, that's it. But here, we are thinking of what? Profit management. Like here, we are talking about sales skill, but here, management skill. So management is given priority. Where? Under the relationship model. The final difference, transactional model, it focuses on traditional customer relationship. When we are saying traditional, this means buy, and if you are going to buy from us, this means the end of the relationship. But in the relationship model, we are talking about a trusted business advising or partnership relationship. The final advantage for the relationship model is informing us, and we are talking about what? Advising relationship or partnership relationship. Because of this now, we are talking about 3 models of selling. Number 1, transactional or traditional. Number 2, relationship. The relationship model itself, it is subdivided into advising relationship or partnership relationship. Any question, any comments about this? Any question, any comments? Go on. Okay, thank you for this class. Hopefully tomorrow we are going to go on with the other objectives of chapter number 1. Thank you very much.